Hey, welcome back. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Sharifa, and my music name is New Lily. If you're new to my channel, please check out one of my 3 videos telling how I became targeted. I have 3 videos at this point now, guys, actually more, where I tell my story, but the 3 main videos that I direct new people that come to this channel to are either my full story. Let me scroll down and show y'all real quick. My full story, how I became a targeted individual. You can see it's 11 hours and 52 minutes. I know that's a very long video, y'all. It's actually a compilation of 7 different video parts. So that's not meant to be watched in one sitting. But that tells my full story, the backdrop details and all the way from my early 20s up until now, age 31. So not only are you hearing how I became targeted, but you also hear the spiritual journey that I've been through for the last decade. It's been a wild ride. So if you have the time, please check that out. But if not, you can check out the summary video, how I became a targeted individual summary. It's right underneath. It's 2 hours and 42 minutes long. I know it looks like I'm on camera, guys. That thumbnail is actually from a video that was posted that got deleted. If you're new to my channel, you're not familiar with this, but I did have a lot more videos with me on camera. And the computer I was using got confiscated, and all of those videos got deleted. So for the last 4 months, I've been basically just recreating all of that content. And unfortunately, I no longer have access to a computer with a camera on it. So most of my videos, all of my videos, with the exception of my full story, how I became targeted, are off camera. And the only reason you have me on camera for the full story was because I did still have my old laptop from college that I was able to use to make that video. And the camera quality is terrible. It's nothing like the other videos that I had posted that got deleted. And then now that camera, that computer is no longer turning on. So I don't have access to any camera unless I use my cell phone. So this is why you all have not been seeing me on camera recently. So that video, that summary video, I'm not on camera. That's actually a thumbnail from a video that got deleted. But if you check out my update video, you can hear the details about what happened, with that situation, how my videos got deleted. Anyway, so the summary video is 2 hours, 42 minutes long, and I'm basically telling you how I got targeted, and I negate not all of the extra details, but most of the extra details. I tried to condense the story into, I was shooting for an hour and a half, and I ended up making a 2 hour and 42-minute video. But those 2 videos tell my story, if you have the time. And then the third video that I just recently created about 2 weeks ago, commentating over a clip from my story that shares how I became targeted. And you see a thumbnail that looks like my full story. And in that video, I basically just went to the part of my full story video where I talked about how I became targeted. I went to the part like right before the targeting started, and I did a screen recording from there on, and I screen recorded that whole portion of that 11-hour video compilation where I talked about how I got targeted, and I did commentary over it. So if you don't have time to watch the full story, you can either watch the summary or you can watch this commentating over a clip from my story that shares how I became targeted. And out of the 2, I would recommend you watch the commentating video over the summary because it does include a little bit more detail. And I think, both videos tell you what happened, basically. You'll get the gist of what started my targeting. But I just feel like the commentating over a clip video is a little bit more well put together. I wouldn't say more well put together. I just feel like I included a little bit more detail. And it's about the same length as the summary video. It's about 20 minutes longer. So I would recommend you watch that video. And I'm on camera. It's literally a recording that I pulled from my full story video. Anyway, guys, this introduction is a redo to this video because the initial intro that I did ended up being 12 minutes and change long. And I didn't like that. I was like, this is ridiculous. So I cut the video, and I decided to redo the intro. And so that's what this is right now. I'm actually about to end the clip. And what I'm going to do is do a screen recording of this clip, the full video that I created, and then I had to cut the end out because an interruption happened. So I'll be recreating the end of the video, and then the recording that I do will just include all 3 parts. So this intro, the main video, and then the end that I'm going to have to redo and finish, actually, because I didn't even get to finish the video because of the interruption that happened. But anyways, guys, so thank you again for tuning in. Welcome back if you're not new, and if you are new, welcome to my channel. Please check out one of those 3 videos. Also, if you're new, another video where I talk about my story is my part 1 gaslighting and programming of the targeted individual video. That 2-hour, 17-minute long video. Not only am I sharing good information about the targeted individual program, but I'm sharing more information about my story that I didn't share in those 3 prior videos that I just referenced. I give more detail, especially about what happened when I tried to relocate off of the island where my targeting started. You know, my targeting eventually went viral because I tried to relocate off island, went to the mainland, did not know I was a target, had some egregious reactions to some of the covert harassment that was happening. My targeting skyrocketed and expanded. And I had a lot of crazy experiences. And so in that part 1 gaslighting video, kind of again just summarizing how I got targeted, but then also giving more detail specifically about some of the things that happened to me when I tried to relocate off island. So that's another video to check out if you have time. Anyways, again, guys, thank you for tuning in. I'm gonna end this clip now, and the next clip will start where I'm actually sharing the information that this video is about. It's documentation, kind of an update, and then also sharing more information about the program. So I'll talk to y'all in the next clip. Peace out. And you all just note that. Sorry about the ad, guys. Just note that the links to those videos that I just referenced in the prior clip are located in the description box as well as in the comment section, as well as some other important links that provides documentation and evidence about the technology used on targeted individuals. So check out the description box in the comment section, y'all. I always include important links in both of those locations. In the comment section. Ooh, that was a mouthful, guys. 12 minutes long. You have me talking and rambling, trying to just basically direct you all to the videos where you can hear my story. I'm sorry for the stammering, guys. I did just have kind of a scary, not kind of, it was very scary experience that I'm about to document. And then to boot, there's a lot of noise campaign happening in the neighborhood. So that's where the stammering comes in. You know, this is why I started stammering. It's actually 1:35 a.m., so I don't even understand how so many people are up with dogs barking. I even think I heard somebody yell out. Like, it's just really creepy when you're targeted. It's like this weird thing. I even heard, and I try not to do these conspiracy theory stuff. You know, most of the things that I say, I like to make sure that I'm saying things that I can substantiate with evidence and I can support with evidence, because you know how this, if you are targeted, this program works. You're gaslit majorly. You are majorly gaslit in this program. So you need to have evidence and documentation for the things you say, or you can be painted or portrayed as somebody that's crazy. So I try not to come with these Looney Tune, loopy type of, you know, rabbit hole conspiracies. But it's so easy for that to happen when you're targeted, because you start learning so much crazy shit that it's so easy to start, you know, adapting new conspiracy theories and stuff once you start learning about this program and some of the technologies that exist and just the weird stuff that exists in the world. You know, it's just like this whole new world that you learn about when you become targeted. But I did hear, and again, I'm making sure to say that, and actually let me give a disclaimer, guys, before I even say that. Before I give the disclaimer, though, because I have a bad tendency of doing stuff like that and then not finishing my thought, and I think I won't come back to this thought. I did hear that with the technology, they are using frequencies. Remember, when you're targeted, you have a microchip in you, the RFID chip, and that's an acronym for radio frequency identifier. So they are using quantum frequencies to neuro monitor you. So this is how they're able to control, you know, the things that's going on in your body if they want to. This is how they can read and monitor your thoughts. This is how they can actually push thoughts in your head if they want to. This is how they can do dream manipulation, body manipulation as well if they want to. The technology exists, guys. I'm not just speaking out of the side of my neck. You can check out my evidence of mind control technology used on targeted individuals. If you'd like to see evidence and patents for the technology that exists. These are actual technologies that exist. There are DARPA videos out there about it. There are Google patents out there. Just a plethora of information if you do your research, and you can just check out my channel. You don't even have to go any further if you'd like to see the evidence. Just check out that video that's on the screen with the brain that's microchipped as the thumbnail, and it says evidence of mind control technology used on targeted individuals. That video validifies the technology that's utilized on targets. So this is how they're doing it. They're using frequencies. So obviously you have, I'm not meaning to say obviously, but you have an RFID chip that's injected into you. And I talked about how that happens in my prior videos. I'm not really going to talk about it in this video again. I even mentioned how it's injected into you and the technology they use to do that as well in my evidence of mind control technology video. So please check that video out. But they're using frequencies to control or neuromonitor your body. So I heard that they can also control whole populations of people with these same frequencies. So that's why you're noticing when you're targeted, sometimes it will seem like the gang stalkers seem like they're synchronized and almost as if they're doing things at the same time. And it's more than just like this comprehensive, all-inclusive, well-crafted program where they communicate via their apps and whatever else and work together to target the target. It's also what seems to be some sort of frequency mind control type thing that's going on, from what I understand. That I don't have concrete evidence that that's what's happening. I've read about that, and I suspect that that's what's happening, but I don't have concrete evidence to say that they're controlling everyone around with these frequencies. But I do have concrete evidence to show that the technology exists, and that they do chip targeted individuals and neuromonitor them, and that there are patents for the technology. So having said that, let me say my disclaimer, and I'll explain to y'all why I'm doing a disclaimer. Okay, so my disclaimer is that I am a journalist, a freelance journalist, and guys, I didn't mean to cut the disclaimer off, but I realized that in this video I reference my evidence of mind control technology used on targeted individuals video, the one that you see on the screen with the thumbnail of the brain that's microchipped. And in that video, I pretty much show you every video on this channel where I show documentation and evidence of this technology, as well as extra information from a new target that I found. But I forgot to mention my part 3 gaslighting and programming of the targeted individual video. In that video, I also provide documentation about this technology from a gentleman that lives in India. So I just wanted to add that in there. I didn't mean to cut into my disclaimer. Anyways, let me continue with the video. The content on my channel is strictly for educational purposes. I am not a medical practitioner, so any medical advice given on my channel is to be followed with caution, and is also to be followed at your own discretion. Please contact a medical physician or professional before trying any tactic that I share with you on my channel. And I don't really share anything other than holistic health remedies. So for instance, I might tell you how to create an anti-nano bucket, which is literally just a device that you create with copper wiring in a bucket, that creates some sort of EMP electrical field that can pull the nanobots and the tech that's put into the body when you're targeted, and not just when you're targeted. Everyone has nano in them at this point, but it's a device that pulls the technology out of the body. It's very safe. There's no risk of electrifying yourself if you do it correctly. And I haven't talked about that yet. I had those videos up that got deleted, but I do in the future, if the Most High spares my life, plan to create an anti-nano bucket video again. And then also a holistic health video where I just share information on how you can take natural supplements or natural herbs, natural foods to detoxify the body, and to pull heavy metals out, in particularly nanobots and graphene oxide. So these are the things that I'll be sharing as far as health goes. But again, I reiterate, I'm not a medical practitioner. I am not a licensed professional. And any medical advice that you choose to follow on my channel is to be done at your own discretion. And I would advise you to contact or consult a medical practitioner before following any advice from my channel, just for your own safety. Again, nothing that I share is dangerous. Everything that I share, You can look up online, and decide if that's something that you would like to do for yourself. But I'm not a medical practitioner, so I'm making sure to say that. And then I also want to state that, like I said, my channel is a journalist channel. So as you guys can see up top, I say talk with Sharifa living with Asperger's and ADD. This is not a niche channel, so it's not going to be specifically about any one thing. I'm a freelance journalist, right? That's one of the many hats that I wear. And on this channel, I will be sharing information about ADD, Asperger's, the targeted individual phenomenon, natural health remedies, natural hair videos, workout videos, etc., career updates, just everything to do with my life and everything that I've encountered thus far at age 31. So I'm a freelance journalist. I am a writer. I graduated magna cum laude with a BA in English. I do like to read and I do like to do research, and I am exploring and researching the targeted individual phenomenon. And so that's why in a lot of my videos, you'll find information about what I learned about the targeted individual phenomenon. And all of the information that I've shared can be substantiated and can be validated, can be validated. I'm sorry for the stammering and the stuttering, guys. There's so much barking in the background and stuff going on. It's like so weird. I'm telling y'all something weird's going on tonight, and I'm hearing the humming in my ear. So it's really hard for me to stay focused. And again, I just mentioned, the ADD Asperger's, I have ADD. So it doesn't take much for me to lose focus, much less to have all of this activity going on. Anyways, like I was saying though, so all of the information that I share, as far as the technology and tactics used, can be verified. I've shared more than enough evidence on my channel to back up the things that I'm saying. That's all I was trying to say. So I'm not sharing anything that's fodder. I'm not sharing anything that's, I'm just pulling out the side of my neck. Everything that I share, I make sure to back up with documentation and evidence. I know the importance of that in this program. So anyways, that's all I wanted to say, guys. As far as the weaponry used on targets, I've said this in all of my videos. I can prove that I'm targeted. I can prove that the technology exists, right? I can prove that I'm targeted. I'm sorry for the stammering, guys. I tried to look out the window because I was literally hearing, you don't understand. Like I said again, I believe there's a frequency controlling. That's the one thing I'm letting y'all know is alleged. That's alleged. So that's not something that I can back up with evidence. But I have read that before, that they can actually use the same frequencies that they're using to neuromonitor you. They can use it to control whole populations of people. So this is why, again, like I said, when you're targeted and you're going to these different cities and you're seeing all the people doing the same things and they're moving like robots kind of the same way, that could be what's going on. But again, that's alleged. So I don't want to say that's for sure what's going on. I know for sure they contact each other and they're in communication with each other. And this is a well-crafted, all-inclusive program. But there is also information out there that suggests that they could be being controlled by frequencies. This is why you're seeing all this weird activity and you don't understand it. Anyway, so it's just like the whole neighborhood's jumping right now. And it's 1:30 something that night. It's weird. AM, 1:35 AM in the morning. Anyway, let me get to the point, guys. I'm starting to ramble and stammer because of what's going on around me. Anyway, so let me finish with my disclaimer. Oh my god, I lost my train of thought too. That's what they want. What was I saying though? So that's what this channel is, guys. It's basically just a channel, personal YouTube channel, where I just document and share my life. It's kind of like a vlog channel, but it's also an informational channel. Because like I did mention, I am a freelance journalist, and so I will be sharing information about the things I learn about ADD, Asperger's, the targeted individual phenomenon, holistic health, working out, giving y'all updates, etc. So all of the information that I share, especially as it pertains to, some of the technologies used on targeted individuals, can be backed up with evidence. And I've provided more than enough evidence to substantiate the things that I'm saying in my prior videos. And as far as the weaponry being used on targets, I've made sure to say that that's alleged. So I can't prove that the weaponry is being used on me. I can prove that it exists, I've provided more than enough information to prove that the weaponry exists, patents, documentation, etc., and I can prove that I'm targeted. I provided more than enough evidence to prove that, but I can't prove that they're actually using this weaponry on me. I can only tell you what my symptoms have been and what my experience has been because they are intangible forms of covert harassment. So, for instance, the Havana syndrome weaponry that I mentioned at the beginning of my video, from what I understand, is some sort of military weaponry that's used on targeted individuals. That's like a no touch type of thing, right? It's intangible. So you'll hear this low hum in your ear. I talked about it in my last 3 videos, y'all. You'll especially my info video. This video that says info and it says part 1, more targeted individual information and documentation. I need to get rid of the word part 1 because I took the part 2 down. But it's like this low frequency sonic type of boom. It's like this type of sonic microwave type of, I don't even know exactly how it works, but type of energy weapon where you can feel the symptoms. You can feel the pressure in your ears. You hear a low hum sound. It can cause headache. It can cause you to flatulate, have gas. It can cause you to defecate, sit on the toilet and have runny gut, bubble gut. Just cause like discomfort really. But if they want, they can make it be more sinister than just discomfort, depending on how hard they hit you with it. You could start feeling pressure in your chest and your heart and stuff. I was even reading about some targets like US diplomats who were hit real hard with it, that ended up in the hospital. Some still trying to recover months later, trying to recover from the damage they took from that weaponry. So it really just depends on how hard they hit you and what the agenda is. So again, I make sure to say that as far as those accounts go where I'm talking about suspecting that I'm being hit with this weaponry, I can tell you my symptoms. I can prove to you that I'm targeted. I can prove to you that the technology exists. But I cannot prove that they are actually doing this to me. So I say that those things are alleged. I'm making sure to say that now. So that's my disclaimer, guys, and I'm only doing that because it seems to me like my information is hitting too much on target. Yes, I'm using that word, pun intended, but it's hitting on target, and it's to the point where they took my last video down for a bogus reason. Because I think I'm sharing so much information and refuting the program and busting down the tactics that are used. And so they got so desperate that they used a bogus reason to take my last video down. And when I appealed it, they had to put the video back up. But I deleted the original version, and I'm actually annoyed with myself for doing that. Because I had already, when they gave me the opportunity to review my content and appeal, I took the opportunity to play the video and screen record it. And so after I did that, I did another screen recording of the recording. That was before they actually put the video back up and approved my appeal. And I put that video up, and I purposely left the video where I did the double recording of the initial video. I left that up so you all could see that they actually took my video down for a bogus reason, just to validify the things I'm saying, because that's more evidence to prove that what I'm saying is true. It's to the point where they felt the need to take down my video for a bogus reason. And the video I'm talking about is the one that you see, the last video I posted, that says discussing the agenda of the targeted individual program, and the thumbnail says agenda. That video, you can't hear it well. The audio is corrupted. Not corrupted. You can hear it. You can definitely hear what I'm saying clearly enough to understand what's being said. But it's low and it's kind of scratchy. The beginning part where I'm speaking in the pre-recording, okay, so this is what's going on, guys. Let me make sure I say this clearly. So I initially posted that video. They took it down for a bogus reason. The reason they stated was because I was giving medical misinformation about tested vaccines. Not once did I mention anything about a vaccine in my video, right? So they gave me the opportunity to review my content and then appeal their decision. So while I was reviewing my content and I had access to the video again, because I had deleted it off my phone at that point, I took the opportunity to screen record the video, right? And I saved it to my drive. And then after I did that and I appealed the decision, I then came out and did a recording of the video. And I did commentary over it. And so that's what you see there. And so when I'm doing the commentary in the beginning, you can hear me as clear as day. But then when the actual recording of the initial video plays, it sounds low, and it sounds kind of muffled, but you can still hear it clearly enough. You can hear what's being said. but it's not as clear as the initial original video. And so I'm mad that when they actually put my video back up, because it was a bogus reason why they took it down in the first place, I'm mad I didn't keep the original video up. I deleted it because I wanted the version that's up now, where you all could see that they got so desperate that they actually took my video down for a bogus reason. So as you can see, the video is still up, but I did a disclaimer in the beginning of that video because of the bogus reason that they gave me for taking down my video. And so that's why that version is up, and you can't really hear the actual video well. You can hear it well enough. If you play it, you'll hear it. You can hear very clearly what I'm saying, but it's not clear as my regular audio. So that's irritating to me. And there are moments where I was shifting in the bed when I was doing the recording of the recording, and so you can hear some scratchy noise over the low audio in some parts of the video. So that irritates me. But I still kept that up for documentation because not only did I give good information in that video, as I usually do, but then also, again, it's just another shred of evidence that what I'm saying is real and true. And this is why they went out of their way to try to take my video down and give me a strike for a bogus reason, and then had to put the video back up when they realized that I was able to appeal their bogus strike. And the only reason you're not seeing the initial video is because I deleted it, which I regret doing. But you can see that video is up. You see they didn't take it down, right? So that's why I did the disclaimer that I did just now. Anyway, guys, let me see how long this. Look at this, already 31 minutes. That's crazy of me just really doing an introduction. Anyway, let me just quickly say what this video is about, guys. I didn't even want to make another video. For the last, literally, let me see how long I've been saying that. I want to say the last 4 to 5 videos, I've been saying that I won't be posting any more targeted individual videos unless it's documentation. Because I've literally posted everything that I wanted to post about this program. I've posted so much information, just a plethora of information, evidence proving that this technology exists, evidence proving that targets are neuro monitored, and talking about what's used to neuro monitor targets, patents, documentation. I've also posted more than enough videos telling my story, my experience, refuting the false narratives, refuting their program and the tactics that they use. And I just felt like I didn't need to make any more of these videos unless it was for documentation purposes. But then it's like every time I say that and I'm done with the video, something else happens that I feel like I need to document. And that's literally what's happened these last 4 videos. From commentating over the clip of my story to now. Even before then, all of this has really been documentation, information and documentation. From, I want to say, my part 1 pertinent information about the targeted individual program, all the way to my most recent video discussing the agenda of the targeted individual program. It's been a mix of information that I learned that I'm sharing with you all and documentation. That's literally what it's been. So this is now more documentation, but I'm trying to hurry up. I'm really trying to keep within that 30 to 40 minute time frame that I've given myself for the video. Anyway, guys, so just quickly wanted to, more documentation about the neuromonitoring, or what I suspect is being done. I had this weird thing happen earlier. I started getting into the tech again. And if you check out this video, y'all, please check it out. My part 1, it's not going to say part 1 when you see it because I'm going to take the part 1 out. Like I said, it was a part 1, part 2 video, and I took the part 2 video down. But please check out my more targeted individual information and documentation video. You see the info as the thumbnail. In that video, I very clearly refute all of the nonsense that they've said. And not only that, I share my experience of some of the things that happened when I got back on island after my targeting exploded and went viral when I tried to relocate. So this is kind of like a play off of that video, a continuation from there, because more things have happened kind of similar to what happened to me a few months ago. Not as extreme, nowhere near as extreme. I talked about my experience a few months ago and some of the reactions I was having before I learned even more about the program, and not to react and more so provide documentation and evidence and articulate what's going on. So anyways, I told y'all when I was getting into the tech a few months ago that they were just, trying to impede it. Taking the current every minute, noise campaigns. There's always noise campaigns when you're targeted. But like really, it seems to amp up anytime I'm doing something positive. It's the weirdest thing ever. It amps up, a lot of different activity to kind of sabotage or impede what I'm doing starts to happen. So a few months ago, this is when I lived in the other neighborhood that I moved from, that I talked about in my video, guys. They just kept taking the current. They kept doing noise campaigns, and of course I need the current if I'm doing tech. that means I'm using my computer. So if they're taking the current, then I can't work on my portfolio. I can't continue to learn how to code and the different things that I was doing back then. I was teaching myself how to code, self-taught. And I was utilizing websites like Free Code Camp, 30 Days of JavaScript, the Odin Project, things like that, and just watching different YouTubers and learning how to code and just creating a portfolio. I had downloaded VS Code, taught myself how to operate with Linux and all of those different operating systems, and I started creating a portfolio. I have a portfolio created, as a matter of fact, guys, that you can check out if you're interested. You know, not all of you are here for the extra stuff. Some of you are just here for the targeted individual content, and so I understand that. But if you are interested, you can check out the portfolio I created a few months ago. It's this video that's titled My Junior Developer Portfolio. And I'm not done with that portfolio, guys. I have so much more work to do in that portfolio. And it's to the point where I didn't even correct the dimensions. I was supposed to, my goodness, I'm having a brain blank. There's a specific term for it that, what is it called? I'm having a brain blank now, guys, and it's been months since I've worked on the coding. But there's a specific term where you, I want to click on it now so I can see what I'm talking about because I put it in the comment section and post on. So, yeah, make it responsive. That's what it was. So I haven't made it responsive yet, guys. So basically when you make your coding responsive, so let's say you make a website or a portfolio like what I did, which is kind of like a website. It's my own personal website. I can go over to it real quick and show y'all. I know, like I said, some of you are only here for the targeted individual stuff, but I'm still going to show you anyways. You know, this is my channel, and so, you know, it comes with everything that is Sharifa. So this is what I was doing a few months ago. I created this portfolio. It's basically like my own little website, right? And so you have the welcome section. If you click on it, you're here at the top. If you click on the skills, it will take you to the skills part. If you click on the work tab, it'll take you to my projects, right? So these are my projects. And if you click on contacts, it'll take you to my contacts where my, you know, there are links to my LinkedIn, GitHub, Free Code Camp, email. But as y'all can see, it looks kind of strange, right? Like jumbled together. You know, like you can see the projects are kind of off to the right. That's because I didn't make it responsive. So if you check this out on a computer, you'll see that the dimensions are correct and that it looks like a normal website. But if you're checking it out from your phone, it looks kind of odd. You can even see how these skills are kind of jumbled together. By the way, these are clickable as well. If you click on them, they all lead to a link, to different links like my GitHub, etc. But it looks, you know, kind of jumbled together. And the reason being is because I didn't make it responsive. And so that's something that I need to do within the coding on my VS Code. So that way that when you're on your phone viewing it, it will look normal and it will fit the dimensions of the phone screen. So that's just one of the many things that I still need to do. It still needs work. You know, I really took my time and put it together. I have different cool projects on there. I even made a video game. It was just on the screen, a whack-a-crab video game, among other things. And I did that with JavaScript, HTML, CSS, etc. So that's to tell y'all I was really taking this thing serious. I was really teaching myself how to code a few months ago, learning different operating systems, and I got to the point where I even created a portfolio, a complete portfolio. So although I do want to add more projects in there, and I do want to do different little things like making it responsive, etc., it is a complete portfolio that I created, and I'm a complete novice to this. I didn't take computer science. I took like 1 or 2 computer courses in the course of my whole 4-year education stint, and that was in my earlier years when I was taking my general study courses. I haven't taken computer courses in years. I just like computers, and I've always been good at computers. You know, kind of like a video game nerd type of girl. So I've always been interested in that stuff, and then also too, the main X that I was talking about for my story, he was a computer science major. So that was what he was majoring in. So I've always been interested in that type of stuff, even though I never really took specific courses for it. So it wasn't too hard for me to fall in line with that curriculum and teach myself. And then also too, I was a teacher, so I know how to teach myself. And so that's what I was doing. I was teaching myself how to code. And it was just causing like havoc with the gang stalkers. Like they were going crazy. Like they were taking the current every minute. They were doing noise campaigns. You know, back then I suspect I was being hit like real hard with energy weapons and stuff. You know, it's a lot better now. You know, yes, I am experiencing Havana syndrome like symptoms and hearing the low hum. You know, again, I can't prove that they're using that on me, so it's alleged. But I can tell you that I'm experiencing the symptoms. That's described with Havana syndrome, I can prove that the technology exists, and I can prove that I'm targeted. So I do experience that off and on, but the other stuff where I was like, it felt like, literally like radiation weaponry, and the loss of weight and the black smudges under the eyes, all of those classic symptoms that come along with radiation exposure, which is also weaponry that's used on certain targets. That's no longer happening, thank the Most High. And I did gain back a lot of my weight. I'm still not the regular weight that I am, guys. I could show you my Facebook right now and show you. I'm not gonna go over there. But I could show you, what my typical weight is versus what I look like now. Actually, I could show you all. This is all documentation. Let me show y'all. I'm gonna go very quickly to my full story. There was a part in the video. Shoot, I don't even have to show y'all that part where I stood up. I can show you just me sitting here on the bed. I'm sure you will be. You can see how skinny I was. This was about 4 months ago. You can just look at my arms. I've always been a slender girl. Even when I had meat on me, I've always been skinny. I've never been somebody that had, a lot of meat on me. That's just not my genetics. But you can see, look at my collarbone. Like, you see how skinny I was a few months ago. There's a point where I stood up in the video. I want to see if I can show y'all that. And even this wasn't as bad as how it was, because this was when I had started to get my weight back. You could see I didn't even have the black smudges under my eyes anymore. This was when I started to recover. But this was still me being skinnier than I am now. I've gained even more weight since then, but I'm still not back to my regular weight. I'll show y'all. I'm looking for the point in the video where I stood up. There was a point, it was more towards the beginning of the video, where I stood up. It doesn't matter. Y'all can see me sit. You can see how skinny I am. And if you take the time to watch the video, it's somewhere towards the beginning of the video, y'all. I stand up and you can see how slim I am. I want to show y'all how I normally look. I normally have meat on my body. I actually shared a video with y'all showing y'all how I looked in my early 20s. I was more slim back then. Now I would equate my weight, not now, but in that video, I would equate my weight to something like how I was in my early 20s, but worse. Because at least back then I was healthy. I had muscle mass. And it was natural. It was a natural weight. It wasn't like that kind of skinny, sucked in kind of way I had gotten a few months ago. But if you check out this video with the thumbnail of my niece and I that says memories from my early 20s, you can see pictures from me back in my early 20s and how I used to look. I used to have muscle mass. I was slender, but it wasn't like how I was a few months ago. It was a different type of skinny. It was a healthy skinny. It wasn't that. So anyways, I've gained back some of that weight. I've been working out. I've been eating healthy. I feel like some of the things that was being used on me a few months ago aren't being used anymore, thank the Most High. But I am still experiencing some tactics, like the Havana-like syndrome symptoms. And the humming sound is happening right now. Every time I make these videos, it starts happening. It's very irritating. Anyway, let me go to my Facebook though and show y'all the weight I was, like, literally just last year, before I tried to relocate off island and all the crazy things happened. And I came back home to island and my targeting changed. And then all of a sudden I was microchipped and, energy weapons are in the picture and all these weird things that weren't a part of my targeting before I tried to relocate. Let me just show y'all real quick what my weight normally is. I'm not gonna go this way. I'm gonna go on my photos. First of all, you can see in this picture that, look at my arms compared to how I was looking in that video, right? But I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use an unfiltered picture. Do you see how my arm looks and my legs? This is how look at my face. This is how I normally look. This is how I normally look when I'm my regular weight. I usually have meat on my body. I like to eat food. I usually have meat on my body. That's how I normally look. And so now I'm like this skinny mini type of thing. It's almost reminiscent, like I said, of my early 20s, but like in this unhealthy kind of way. Now it's healthier. Like I said, I don't believe some of the same tactics that were being used, or I suspect was being used a few months ago, is being used now. So I did start to gain some weight back, and I have been working out, but it's still not that picture. It's not what I was just last year when I had meat on my body and I was healthy. And all these weird things, these weird symptoms happening. I'm seeing acne on my back. I've had acne on my back before. I do have oily skin that's prone to acne. I've talked about this in my prior videos. That's genetic. That comes from my mom, right, and her side of the family. But I haven't experienced like true acne since high school. Like I've had like a few pimples here and there on my face or a few pimples on my back, but not a whole damn breakout. It's like ever since the nano thing, I noticed this. Like the acne thing is not new. I noticed it a few months ago, right in the height of the nano thing and stuff, when I was having the black smudges and I lost all that weight. That was when I was noticing like the acne, the backne is what I would call it, had amped up because I've had, like I said, acne on my back before, but not like how it was a few months ago when I was getting, what I suspect I was getting hit with whatever, right? All of a sudden, all these weird symptoms. I'm noticing extra hair on my chin, like it caused some sort of hormonal thing in my body. I've had hair in my on my chin before, similar to that the back knee, right? But not the amount of hair I started noticing. I started noticing like excessive hair growing out of my chin, like little small crinkles under my eyes. I'm not trying to sound like this vain, narcissistic person. I'm not a vain person, but I am a young woman. I'm only 31, and yes, I do care about my appearance. And so when you're targeted and you're dealing with all of these physical things, especially again, I want to reiterate to you guys that this all just started within this last year, after me coming back last November from trying to relocate and all those crazy things happening that caused my targeting to go viral. And I come back to this island, all of a sudden I'm microchip, all of a sudden all these extra things are being used in my targeting. All of a sudden, all these weird symptoms. A few months ago, like I said, I suspect I was being hit with energy weapons. I was feeling the heat and the pressure on my chest. It kind of feels similar to, like, I would describe it as a feeling of being microwaved or cooked is what it feels like. It's like this weird burning sensation. The same things that you see as symptoms of microwave energy weapons. I experienced those symptoms. I had lost a lot of weight. Like I said in that full story video, that was me recovered. That was me recovering and bouncing back. Y'all needed to see some of those videos that got deleted. Although I looked nice, I was putting my face together and stuff, I was even skinnier. It was really a mess. I was looking in some of those videos, you could even see the black smudges under my eyes. So it was really bad a few months ago, and that was when all these weird things started happening. Like noticing like a few like acne on my back and hair growing out my chin, and it's not no big set of hair. I'm still looking okay. I actually still look good. Let me not say okay. I still look good, but it's just like I just noticing these extra things that wasn't there before, and it's so it's just like it's weird. It's freaky. It's creepy when things are happening in your body that you have no control of, and that. But you can't prove it. It's just scary. It's really scary stuff. Anyway, so I'm doing a lot better now, guys. Long story short, I've a lot of those things, like I said, that I believe, I suspect was happening a few months ago, I don't think are still happening now. Like I said, do experience the Havana-like syndrome symptoms. That's about it. None of the other stuff, with the like feeling like the burning sensation in my chest, or like my heart is feeling funny, or black smudges under my eyes, all of that crazy stuff. I did gain a lot of my weight back, but still haven't bounced back to the old me. Still haven't. But anyways, that's why I want to keep y'all updated on even my workout journey, so y'all can see what's going on with that, because I did start working out again. Throughout the years, I've always been a fitness person. I'm an athlete. I actually played sports in high school. I was a basketball player. I also played volleyball, etc. Every sport you could think of. I've always been an athlete. So, it's natural for me to work out. And in my early 20s, like I said, if you check out that video that I referenced a little while ago with the thumbnail of my niece and I, you can see how fit I was back then. Literal like muscles in my arms. I had abs, everything. So I'm used to working out and being fit. And throughout the years, sometimes I fall off of it, sometimes I come back on. I have always kept up with working out, jogging, weightlifting, etc. But now I've been hardcore, like almost like a boot camp type of thing, working out and training my body and trying to recover and bounce back from what happened to me a few months ago. And so I'm noticing all of these little things that started happening to me that, was freaking me out, kind of slowly fading away. Like even the crinkles under my eyes, I'm slowly getting them to fade away, and just kind of trying to bounce back from what happened, or what I can't even say what I suspect happened. What happened? Maybe I can't prove, like I said, that certain things were done to me, but I can tell you something weird happened back then. I was feeling a burning sensation. I lost a lot of weight. Um, with their shadow networking software that I talked about in my pertinent information part 1 video. Check that video out, guys. It's a lot of good information in that video. But with that software that they use on targets to hack all of your technological devices and to send videos with subliminal messaging in it, around that time they were sending me videos about radiation poisoning. So it's almost like I don't even want to say it's alleged, because they were literally telling me via these videos what they were doing, and I was feeling the actual physical symptoms of it. So this is why I'm I kind of almost want to, with my full chest, say this is what was happening, but again, I can't prove it. It's intangible. So I can only say that I suspect, right? Anyway, so documentation, guys. Oh my God, how long is the video? Look at that, 49 minutes. This always happens. Let me quickly just this is documentation, guys, about what's happening now. So like I said, I haven't been experiencing those other things now, and I have been bouncing back. I've gained a lot of my weight back. Not totally, but I did gain a lot of my weight back. And like I said, I do plan to come with a video, another one with me on camera. So at least you'll have 2 videos with me on camera, and hopefully more in the future with me on camera. With a weight journey, not just weight journey, but letting y'all see the progress of my working out. Because like I said, I've been training myself like almost like a boot camp type of thing. Like every day I'm working out except Saturdays, because Saturdays are my Sabbath. Sundays I'm jogging for 20 minutes, and when I get my bike up, if the most I spares my life, I'm also gonna ride my bike for 20 minutes. Monday I'm doing this vigorous weightlifting leg workout routine. Tuesdays I'm doing an ab workout, and then in the evenings I'm jogging. Wednesdays I'm doing the same vigorous weightlifting leg routine. Thursdays jogging again for 20 minutes. Fridays the same vigorous weightlifting leg routine, and then like I said, Saturdays are my day off. So I'm working out darn near every day except Saturday, and really training my body. For a while there, I was taking protein. I had gotten a little cash. I'm broke right now, y'all. For the first time in years, I'm unemployed. Been unemployed for months. I'm not even used to this. It's such a weird feeling. Like I said, I am in the process of, there's a hiring process I'm going through for this correction officer job that I did hear back from. So I'm just praying it works out. I did the psych evaluation and did some testing. I'm just waiting to hear back from them. But right now, still unemployed. Also planning to get food stamps, so this is also something I filled out the application, so that way I can at least eat the way that I want to eat and get the amount of protein I need to get in, so that I can put on the mass that I'm trying to put on. Not only am I trying to get my weight back, but at this point I'm trying to build my body, like bodybuilding type of thing. Not like like Ronnie Coleman or anything like that. But just trying to build up myself and get the look or aesthetic that I'm going for. And so just trying to build up my thighs and my butt and that area, and just get myself back to because they come for your self-esteem in this program, man. And so it's better to take care of yourself, and not just for health purposes, because you do have health risks in this program as well. So it is good for you to be in optimal health, but then also just for the physical part of it, where they come for your own mental wellness. They come for your self-esteem. That's part of the tactics used in this program. I've talked about it in prior videos. So it's just good to take care of yourself, so you can feel good about yourself, but also really be physically healthy with the things that happen to targets. So I will be coming with a video as soon as I can. I was saying when I get access to a computer with a camera, but even if that doesn't happen, I might ask somebody to hold my camera for me, and my phone, take a video of me. I'm gonna wear like a sports bra and a short pants, so y'all can just see the progress that I have right now, because like I said, I have been working out for about 2 to 3 months now, and I am seeing results. You could say I'm on a cut right now, guys, because like I was saying, I kind of cut myself off. I was talking about protein and not being able to take enough protein and applying for food stamps, etc. But my protein ran out. I was able to come into a little bit of cash, and I had bought like a vegan protein, and I was taking that for about a month, and I was also taking creatine, and I literally saw the mass coming onto my thighs, and all of that kind of just started to wear off once I stopped taking the creatine and I stopped taking the protein. I'm not taking in enough protein to get the mass that I want, but I'm still seeing the development in my thighs. I'm still seeing the muscle tone. Like, my thighs look crazy, my legs are crazy. Not crazy, it's not like super like toned up or anything like that, but you can see the results. You can see that I've been working out. So that's nice to see. But it's still not anywhere where I want to be right now. I'm trying to put mass on. So you could say I'm on a cut right now because I don't have access to the protein that I need. So that's what I want to show y'all. Just basically what my results are right now from working out for about 3 months. And then the next video I come with, hopefully if the most I spares my life, I'll be able to access protein and, have more mass. I mean, you can see, and I can see too, what my results are. So that's the next video I'm going to try to come with. I might just use my phone to do that video. But anyways, the documentation, my God, I keep going off on tangents, and the video's like almost an hour long. This always happens. Anyway, documentation, guys, what this whole video is about. So anyways, the Havana syndrome thing has been happening. That's the one, or I suspect it has been happening. That's the one thing that I still have been experiencing, and off and on. And so it does sometimes cause pressure in the chest, and it makes you feel like this uncomfortable pressure in your stomach. Like I said, it can make you flatulate, defecate, make your head hurt, etc. And that's been my experience with it. But sometimes, they only do that sometimes, like, or I suspect they're doing it sometimes. I only experience those extreme symptoms sometimes. Oftentimes, it's more so just to irritate me, cause like a slight discomfort, but not like to the point where it's making me sick. That's only happened like 2 times. But I noticed tonight, I started looking into the tech again because I went off on a tangent, and I noticed anytime I look into the tech, that's when it seems like they up the ante with the Havana syndrome. Because about a week ago, I started looking into the tech again, and I was like, let me get back on track. Because if you watch my recent videos, y'all will hear me say that, although I'm trying to get into this corrections officer job, I also would like to still utilize my degree. I worked my ass off to get the degree that I got. I graduated magna cum laude. I have a whole English degree. I have a resume full of teaching experience. And so I haven't really thrown education to the back burner either. Definitely not. I'm gonna do what I deserve to do and what I work, whatever job I want to work, right? But I did try to get back into education. And I explained to y'all why that didn't work out, right? So check out, if you would like to hear that story, you can check out my part 1 and part 2 targeted individual deprogramming experience and career update videos, where I talk about what happened with that teaching job and me trying to get back into education, what happened with that. So I do even still have a teaching certificate that doesn't expire until 2025. So if I take the courses necessary, the certificate becomes permanent. Not permanent, you still have to renew it and stuff, but it transitions from provisional to an actual certificate. So I still plan to take those courses and make my certificate permanent. Or it's not permanent, it's kind of permanent, but you have to renew it. So I do still plan to take those courses. And I am thinking about trying to get into adult education. That's really what I was trying to do when I applied, just because of the weird circumstances and the situation I'm dealing with, even though I've done nothing. Still just because of the weird circumstances. Please check out those 2 videos I just mentioned. I just was trying to get into adult education, where you teach, basically the GED program, where you're teaching high school level courses, to adults, basically, or older students. That's what I was trying to get into. And then I ended up hearing from the high school that I used to teach at before I resigned last year. And check out those videos to hear what happened with that. I'm not really going to talk about that again in this video. But long story short, guys, I'm not planning to just do away with my degree. I'm still planning to make my degree useful, and, do something that pertains to my education. I'm not letting those years go to waste. Definitely not. All the hard work I put in. So I'm just trying to build off of my degree and figure out what I want to do next. Whether that be getting back into education, whether that be using my degree to propel me into another career field. I was looking at speech pathology. I mentioned that in one of my prior videos. Still looking at the coding and the tech. This is what I'm about to talk about right now with the documentation. And I was even looking at technical writing, where I mix my English degree with the coding that I've taught myself. Because I saw that you can become a technical writer, where you're basically turning like complicated writing or complex writing into understandable, digestible writing for readers to digest and understand. So, like, let's say there's a product that you're selling, a tech product or whatever. You, as a technical writer, have to understand how the product works. This is where the coding comes in and understand the different intricacies of that product. And then you have to break it down. The writing, the complicated writing and instructions, you have to break it down into something that's digestible for regular, everyday readers. And so I was looking into technical writing, and I was thinking about going that route, where I can mix the tech with the English. But I'm gonna be real, even though I'm a writer and I like reading and stuff, guys, I do have ADD, and I don't like to write about just about anything. I have to be interested in what I'm writing about, and I don't want to be miserable. And I just looking at it, just look at something that might be boring. So I was looking at the technical writing for a little bit, and I was just kind of like, I don't think I want to do that. Then I was looking at speech pathology, because I can use my English degree to get a master's in speech pathology. I was looking into that. I talked about becoming a psychiatrist. I told you I was looking into medical school. But the trajectory of that was just looking too long for me, y'all. And it's not impossible. There are people in there. Let me show y'all a picture. I even took this screenshot as motivation for me when I was really into that idea. I keep hopping around because, like I said, it's kind of like this weird point in my life where I'm trying to decide what I want to do next. And so I'm looking at all these different options, and that's why y'all keep hearing me come with different things, because I'm really trying to decide what move to make next. So anyways, I wanted to show y'all the screenshot I took when I was thinking about the psychiatry. This mechanic quit his job to go to medical school in his 40s, and he didn't become a doctor until he was in his 50s. You know, medical school takes about 9 to 12 years. So I'm 31, y'all. I'm making 32 next month if the most I spares my life. And so if I did decide to take that route, likely, you know, I already have 4 years under my belt, but I still have prerequisites that I have to take before I can even get into any medical school. So I'm looking at about 2 years of schooling in addition to my English degree that I'm going to have to take before I can even go to medical school. So that's 2 years, right? Plus the 4 years of medical school, that's 6 years. Plus the 3 years of residency, that's 9 years that I'm looking at before I can even ever become a psychiatrist. So we're talking about, you know, if I'm 32, talking about 41. You know, that's not terrible. You know, you still have youth to you. At 41, you're not old, but you're older. You know, I'm not trying to get into shit, let me not knock it. Some people do. Shit, some people change careers in their early 40s. You know, it happens. But I'm just looking at it and I'm like, I don't want to, you know, have to wait till I'm like 41 to get into my career. As passionate as I am about psychiatry and wanting to become an addiction psychiatrist, I don't want to have to, you know, it's not even that I'm not willing to put the work in, because I'm a hard worker. And when I really put my mind to something, I'm interested in it, I can get it done. But I'm just looking, like I said, at the trajectory and how long it's going to take. And I'm just like, I want to do something for the now. Like, I want to get into my career now. So, like, the next 3 to 4 years, that's more so what I'm looking at. And so that's why I was kind of putting the psychiatry on the back burner. I was like, I don't think I'm going to do that anymore. So I started looking into the coding again and kind of feeling like I don't want that to have been a waste of time. First of all, I was having a blast. When I was doing the coding, it was so fun. I can't even explain to you how fun. I didn't even know I would enjoy it so much. You know, I really am into computers and I didn't realize it. But as I'm doing the coding and stuff, and then I'm getting to look at what I'm creating with the coding, it's so fun. I can't even explain how fun that was for me. And that's why I was sitting there for hours on end creating all these different projects, and then they kept taking the current and it was irritating me. But I was like, I don't want that to go to waste, you know, because I sat there for a good 2 to 3 months teaching myself how to code and creating a portfolio. And so I'm like, I even got a web developer certificate, y'all, on Free Code Camp. So I was just like, I don't want that to go to waste. And I keep looking at tech and how much money, it's not just about the money. Like I said, it's actually something that I find enjoyable, but also it's a lucrative career field. And not only that, I'm stammering. I'm getting so excited when I talk about it, but it's perfect for an introvert because you can do tech from home. There's so many remote tech jobs that you can work, and you make your own hours. You know, so this is what I liked about it. It's like almost like the opportunities are endless when it comes to tech. And most of the tech fields, most of the tech positions are high paying. It's a high paying career field because everything is technology. I mean, look at all the technology being utilized on targets. Y'all, if you're targeted, know how advanced technology is. Everything is tech right now. So that's why it's such a booming industry. So it's like you're looking at, you know, the pay, if we're talking pay grade, you're looking at 90,000 and up if you're getting into tech. And typically it's the up, you know? So this is why I was like, whoa, okay, I can work from home, you know, make all this money. It's not all about that. But yes, I would like to be comfortable, especially after what I've been through. I don't ever want to struggle again. But you can work from home, make all this money, and I enjoy it. It's fun for me. It's something I enjoy. So this is why I was like, I don't really want to give up on the idea of tech. And this is why I keep you see me in these videos where I'm talking about what I'm going to do next. I keep revisiting the tech thing because I don't want those months to go to waste. But then also, so I realized it's something I really enjoyed. So I'm going back and forth on what I want to do. But at the same time, I'm thinking, okay, I don't want those 4 years to go to waste either, where I got my English degree. Yeah, I used it for 2 years. I was an English teacher, but just 2 years? 4 years of schooling for 2 years of work? You know, that doesn't work for me. That's bothering me. And so that's why I'm having an issue, and I'm kind of like in a, like, I don't know, a stalemate or something. I feel like stuck in, like, I can't figure out what to do next because it's like, I don't want my degree to go to waste, but then I don't want the tech thing. I mean, the tech thing was only 3 months, but I feel like I don't even want that to go to waste. You know, I have an OCD where when I do something and I put my time into something, I don't want it to just go to waste. So this is why I'm just like, I don't know what to do next. I'm just kind of like feeling torn about what to do next. So I'm just thinking about how I can use my English degree and still also use the coding. And so the technical writing was something I was looking at and it just looked so boring. And so the next thing I was looking at was getting my master's in computer science. And so I saw this guy that was talking about his experience and how he had a business degree and kind of the same situation like me where he wanted to get into tech, but he didn't want his business degree to be a waste. So he didn't want to go and get a computer science major and have like this dual BA kind of thing going on where it's like the same level of education, instead of going further, So if you're going to get another degree, you don't want to do another 4-year BA and that other 4 years go to waste. So it's like, this is why he was trying to get his master's in computer science. And so he was talking about the fact that you can do 2 years, get the prerequisites necessary to get into the master's program, and then you can do the master's program for computer science. So I was looking at that. I'm just looking at different things, guys. But the point is I started looking at tech again because I went off on a tangent. I started looking at tech again, and I started looking into coding again, and I was looking at what specifically I would want to do in tech. What oh my god, what type of developer I'm trying to become. So I was looking at software developer, I was looking at cloud developer, I was looking at back end developer, front end developer, full stack developer. I was very candid with y'all about the fact that I'm not good at math. And it's not that I can't be, but it's like, I don't know, something about math just bores me to tears. I don't like math. I never did. That's the one thing I'm not good at. And the thing about back end coding is that it requires math. Like, it's not exactly math, a lot of those coding languages, but the algorithms used, a lot of them resemble math. So it's math like coding languages. And some of them actually include math. Like, if you get into data science, that's really a good tech field. That's like one of the highest paying tech career fields you can get into. And I know I'm not doing that. I'm going to let y'all know right now because all of them are high paying. But that in particular, that one is like one of the most difficult ones to get into. And it's not that I can't challenge myself, but I saw all the math involved. I was just like, nope, no, I'm not going to, set myself up for failure either at the same time. So anyways, I was just looking at what would be best for me, what career field would be best for me in tech. And so that's what I was looking at. About a week ago, I started looking at that stuff, and I noticed the Havana syndrome thing started super loud. That was one of the days where it made me sick. Like, I made my stomach bubble. I got bubble gut. And I ended up, going in the bathroom and defecating. Like, it really made me upset. My stomach upset. And I remember being pissed and just thinking all these nasty thoughts in my head. Because I'm like, why are they doing this now when I'm looking at the tech? And it just brought back memories of what happened to me a few months ago when I really got sick when I was doing the tech. And so it seems like anytime I start looking into the tech, it's like the physical, it seems, I suspect, I can't say suspect, it's really happening. I'm really getting these symptoms. I just can't prove that, that what's causing it. But it's like the physical starts to happen whenever I start doing the tech. So again, tonight, I was looking into the tech, and I mentioned in one of my prior videos that the computer that I do have access to is a very old laptop. It's a Lenovo IdeaPad, so it's not even like an actual laptop. It's a laptop, but it's more of like an IdeaPad type of thing, right? And I used it in college, so it's an old computer. And so it seems to me like the battery went bad. I'm not really sure what the issue is, but the computer stopped turning on. But I noticed the charging light is on. So it seems to me like the battery has gone bad. I'm not certain what it is, but I went and I screwed off the back of my computer, and I was looking at the motherboard, trying to see if I could figure out what was going on. Just want to show y'all what I was doing earlier. I took a video of it. I screwed off the back of my computer, and I was looking at the motherboard, trying to figure out what was going on. And I suspect it's the battery, right down there where I'm focusing on in the bottom right-hand corner. I suspect something's going on with the battery. I feel like the battery went bad because this is an old computer. So you can see I took the screws out and I put them to the side there. And I was just trying to figure out what was going on and if I could figure out how to fix the computer. So I'm going to buy a new battery and replace that one. So that's what I was doing, y'all. I was just looking on my YouTube at different tech videos. And then eventually I picked up my computer because I do want to get onto Free Code Camp again and start doing projects again. And the problem with this computer, like I said, it's an IdeaPad. I can't even download VS Code. If you're familiar with coding, you'll know what I'm talking about. But there are different operating systems that you can use to create your portfolio and create projects. And so I was using VS Code, and I can't do that on this computer. I was doing that on the computer that got confiscated. And so that's also why I want to get a new computer. But again, I'm struggling broke, y'all, trying to get this job that I've been kind of going through the hiring process of, and I haven't heard back from them again yet. So that's kind of what I'm doing. And so just kind of trying to work with what I have. And so I was thinking, okay, well, at least I'll have a computer. At least I can go on free code camp and do stuff, work on my coding. And so I was trying to figure out how to fix the computer that I do have. And so I kind of figured out that I think it's the battery, so I went and I screwed stuff out and I took the battery out, and I was going to figure out how I could get a new battery. So that's what I was doing. And I was just looking at different videos about coding and trying to figure out, what avenue I want to follow, what coding languages I want to learn. Because although I learned HTML and CSS and started to learn JavaScript, I still don't know it in its entirety. I'm still learning. Like I said, I kind of just put the coding on the back burner when I started getting sick a few months ago. I'm not trying to stay in that realm. I don't want to be a front end developer, because that, of all the tech career fields, that seems to be the most oversaturated. Everybody wants to be a front end developer. It's fun, like you're dealing with the visual aspect of things rather than the programming. So that's where you're dealing with more so like the art of it. Like you're doing coding languages that, the aesthetic builds the aesthetic of the website. So you're creating the front of the website. So they're seeing, the things that everyone sees, like the operation of the website, where you're scrolling through the website and you're clicking on certain things, you're typing on different products. That's that type of stuff. It's more so like the design part of things. That's what the front end is about, and it's fun. But at the same time, it's easier. That's easier than back end, where you're actually programming a website, and you're dealing with the behind the scenes type of stuff. I saw this funny video on YouTube the other day. It was like a short where they were showing how a front end developer looks and how a back end developer looks, and the back end developer looked dark and depressed, and they were showing the front end developer looking like rosy with flowers in his hair and all this type of hilarious stuff like that. The front end developers are dealing with like the artsy stuff, and so yeah, what you're doing is complicated too. It still takes a certain skill set to do that, and you do have to learn coding languages to do that. It's still easier than back end. That's where I told you that there's more math involved, and those languages are a little bit more complicated. And so that's not where I'm trying to stay, even though that's easier and it seems fun. I would like to learn something else that would be more valuable, that would ensure job security for me. And so that's why I was looking at what career field I want to look at in tech, and I was looking at becoming a full stack developer. So meaning I'm doing the front end and the back end coding. And I don't know if that's what I'm gonna do. I was looking at different stuff. I was looking at blockchain. I was looking at Web3 developer, just different stuff, cloud developer. I was just trying to figure out what I wanted to do and just do a research, kind of like what I did a few months ago before I started to hop in head first and teach myself. I was just trying to look at what I wanted to do next. I still want to learn the JavaScript, but I was just trying to decide what I wanted to do next so I don't waste my time. And so I'm doing that, and I'm noticing like noise campaigns happening. Like every time I started it wasn't as bad today, actually. It really wasn't as bad as what happened a week ago when I was looking into that stuff, where it was just like they hummed in my head so loud I actually got a headache, or I suspect. I mean, it's not suspect. I was really hearing the humming, but again, I can't say they because I can't prove it. I suspect that they were humming in my. They were doing it. And I ended up even getting nauseous and getting diarrhea and stuff. So today they started doing it again, but not as intensely, but it was happening. And so I'm like, what the heck is going on? And then I had somebody in my close circle come on. I don't really want to talk about that too much because I really don't like to talk about certain things, especially with some of the narratives that were painted and stuff, and me being traumatized and not wanting to talk about certain things. And then also to just get, backlash for talking about certain things in my video. But I did talk about this person in several of my videos, that they created this weird scenario for me because of something I said in my full story. This person in my close circle, that I kind of had a strained relationship with because of, some things that happened in the past, and not just with Candid in my full story, and I talked about it and they weaponized it against me. I've talked about it. If you're somebody that follows my videos, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, this person comes out and just kind of having like an anxiety attack, and I just kind of having, I guess, PTSD from whatever she has gone through. I'm not going to go into details. One of the So this is where the interruption happened, guys, that I mentioned in the first clip. So I'm going on to the last clip now. Y'all, this is the last part of the video that I mentioned in the first clip, that I had to, it's not only recreate, I actually did not get to finish the video because of the interruption. So rather than a recreation, this is a continuation of the last clip, the prior clip. So as I was saying, I was in here, just kind of playing around with my computer. I'd opened up the back of it and I was looking at the motherboard, trying to figure out why it wasn't working. And I think I figured out the problem. I think I need a new battery pack. It's an old computer. I've had it for years. Like I told y'all, it was the computer that I used when I was in college, and I graduated in 2020. We're now at the end of 2023. So it's an old computer. And I actually purchased it when I first got to college in 2018. So it's about 5 to 6 years old computer. So I think that's what's going on. So what I did was I pulled the battery pack out and, was kind of just playing around with the computer. And then I put it up and I was just looking at coding videos, just kind of trying to figure out which route I want to take if I decide to continue on with the tech. Because like I told y'all, there's nothing set in stone right now, and I am just still trying to figure out and navigate through what my next steps are going to be. Definitely still trying to, pursue that job that I'm still going through the hiring process of. Still trying to figure out what's going on with that. But also still wanting to do something with my degree. So that job is more so like income for right now, and I will do it long term. Anything that I decide to do, I'm trying to do things where I can kind of make my own hours. Like, so for instance, if I decide to do speech pathology, I can make my own hours. I'll have clients. If I decide to do the tech, I can make my own hours. I can work from home. I can work remotely. So I'll still be able to do that correction officer job. I can work 2 jobs. I'm used to doing that anyways. I told y'all what was going on in college. I was working 3 main jobs. I was a substitute teacher. I was doing security at night, and I was a carrier for the post office. And then also, taking a full load of courses. Anyway, so this is the continuation of the last clip, y'all. So that's what I was doing. I was just trying to figure out if I do decide to pursue the tech route, what area do I want to focus on? What kind of developer do I want to be? Do I want to look into cybersecurity? Do I want to look into back end, front end? Do I want to be a cloud developer? Do I want to be a full stack developer? These are the things I was looking at last night on YouTube. Just minding my business, and off and on I was hearing the low hum that's associated with Havana syndrome. Like I said, this is kind of, started about a week ago when I was looking into the tech. I told y'all what happened. I'm trying not to repeat things that I already said. But it was really bad about a week ago when I started looking into the tech. They were really doing it loud and like all night long. I suspect they were doing it. And it was to the point where I even got nauseous. Last night, not as bad. It was off and on. I was hearing the humming sound and it was, like slight pressure in my eardrums, but it wasn't as bad. But they were doing it off and on. But it wasn't to the point where it was making me feel sick. It was irritating, but it wasn't making me feel sick. And so then, like I said, I mentioned in the last clip, this family member that I talked about, that they kind of tried to create like this awkward situation for me with because of some of the things that I said honestly and openly in my full story. And if you want to know who I'm talking about or get more details on that, you can check out I'll show you which video you can check out. That same commentating over a clip from my full story video. Because in that video, in that clip, that's one of the things that I talk about. So you can check out that video if you want to hear more details about that person in my close circle and what I'm talking about and how they kind of tried to weaponize that relationship against me. But anyway, so while I'm in here in the room doing what I'm doing, like I said, I heard, like somebody, like a commotion going on outside. And really what happened was, as I was looking through the different videos, I came across the coding language Python. And of course that sounds like a snake, right? But that's actually a coding language, typically associated with back-end coding. And so when Python was mentioned, you know how they do noise campaigns when certain things are mentioned, I heard a door close. So I assumed that was that family member coming out because she was having the anxiety attack, but I thought that was them doing noise campaign because the word Python was mentioned, because that's also something they try to sensitize me to with the shadow networking. Remember in my pertinent information about the targeted individual part 1 video, I talked about the technology that's used in this program and the fact that they actually have a software program called shadow networking. It's called soft warfare that they utilize on targets where they hack all of your technological devices and they can send you videos with subliminal messaging in it to sensitize you. I've talked about that in several of my recent videos, guys, but particularly in my part 1 and part 2, pertinent information about the targeted individual videos. In the part 1 video, I even shared a clip from Michael Bardian's page where he's talking about that technology and that software that they use. But basically, this is why targets, might feel like they're crazy, or like they're the TV's talking to them. Like they're seeing subliminal messages in the TV, because this is literally what they can do with the technology. They can send you, for instance, videos to your YouTube with stimuli to sensitize you, whatever it is that they're trying to sensitize you to, or program your mind to. So that's all a part of the psychological warfare. So one of the things they like to throw at me, or one of the stimuli, is snakes. They don't do it as much as often, especially since I've refuted a lot of the stupidness that they come in. Stupidness is just island slang, guys. That's stupidness, nonsense, bullshit. Since I've refuted it, they don't really come with the snake thing as much, but they still do throw that in sometimes. I guess now that I'm talking about it in this video, they're going to start sending it. They love to do that. It's just like a trolling type of thing at this point, too. So I guess I'm going to start seeing snakes a lot in my newsfeed now. But they don't do it often, not as much as they were doing it before. But ever so often, they do try to sensitize me to that. And so when Python was mentioned in one of the videos I was watching, I heard the door in the hallway, because remember, as they're doing these things and sending you these different stimuli to sensitize you with their shadow networking software, then externally, to help with the programming, because remember, you're being surveilled 24/7, the gang stalkers will make noise in the background. So that kind of pounds in the programming, so it's like an all-out assault on your mental, right? So when the Python thing was mentioned, the Python coding language, I heard the door close, and I immediately, because I'm triggered and I have PTSD from dealing with the noise campaigns and being sensitized, I immediately thought that's why the door closed. I thought they were doing that because the word Python was mentioned, which is, again, I reiterate, a coding language. So I remember sitting up and I was already sitting up, but I was like, oh my God, I said, it's a coding language. I said, they're making noise over there. I didn't say it out loud. I thought it in my head. But you know how this technology works. Your thoughts are being broadcasted, so you may as well say things out loud at this point. So I thought that in my head. I was just like, are you kidding me? Like, this is a coding language. They're making noise because they're talking about Python, the coding language. And when I thought that thought, then I heard a howl outside come from the living room. So I immediately, got startled. I thought now, something else was going on. I thought something was going on with my mom, because last I checked, she was laying on the couch sleeping, and I heard the howl. And so I immediately got startled, and I flew up out of my seat, and I ran outside to see if she was okay. And so when I ran outside, I actually saw that other family member, that, like I said, they tried to weaponize that relationship against me because of something I said in my full story. I saw her sitting on the couch, and apparently she was having an anxiety attack because of some of the things that she's gone through. And so I just stayed there. My mom and I just gave her a few comforting words. I gave her a hug, told her everything was going to be okay. And she said she was okay. She was just having a moment, which is normal and understandable, considering the circumstances. Not going to go into details because it is personal content, personal subject matter. So after that, I just went in my room. Me of old, in these last few months, because of what they tried to do with that relationship and how they tried to weaponize it against me and how they tried to paint these false narratives, me of old would have probably had a weird reaction, physical reaction, because I knew they were staring at me. And they always do noise campaigns when it comes to certain things. They even did noise campaign about another family member that I'm not even going to go into details because I don't want to create something. I noticed when they insinuate things, and I noticed I learned not to talk about things anymore, because when I do it, it gives it power, and then they try to push a narrative even more. So I'm not going to go into details about that and how they tried to do noise campaign with that as well. I totally just ignored that and didn't let that turn into something. But with this situation here, this had already turned into something because of what I had said in my full story and how they tried to use their shadow networking and how they paint these false narratives, smear campaign type stuff, tried to create a narrative with that relationship. So I didn't have a reaction this time. Typically I would have been probably breathing funny or acting anxious or uncomfortable because of them staring at me and doing noise campaigns. But after I comforted her, I just came in my room and I sat down and went back to coding, looking into the coding, and they were doing noise campaign outside, and I totally ignored them. And so I don't know, I think that must have bothered the gang stalkers that I didn't have my typical anxious reaction. It seems like they feed off of that or something, because they love to run with that reaction and try to paint it as guilt, when all it is PTSD and discomfort from the psychological warfare. Them constantly staring at you and making these strange noises. And so that's what that really is. And so anyways, I didn't have that reaction this time, thank the Most High. And so I just went back to my coding, right? And I didn't have that reaction. And so I think that might have bothered the gang stalkers, because all of a sudden the hum started really loud in my ear. It went so loud in my ear because I didn't have that reaction that I typically do. You know, I've been healing myself with these videos, even the other stimuli that they try to sensitize me to that I've talked about. Check out this video, y'all, and you'll know what I'm talking about. Check out this video, my part 1 and part 2, targeted individual deprogramming videos. And you can see the thumbnail says deprogramming in process, because I've been deprogramming the program with my own self-talk and my own videos and my own refuting of their false narratives. It's been therapy for me. And so I've been able to deprogram to a certain extent. Not fully, obviously, you know, it is what it is. When you're constantly being bombarded with stimuli, you're being programmed whether you want it or not. You know, my only option would be to turn off the internet, you know, and then I'm not going to sit here twiddling my thumbs while I'm being stared at. So that's not reasonable, unfortunately. So I do keep my internet on and I do watch videos, and I am constantly being bombarded with stimuli, you know, because of their shadow networking technology that they can use to do that. So just like I said, and I've said this in prior videos, similar to when you're watching a movie and a Coca-Cola ad pops on the screen, throughout the movie, it might pop on once or twice, and then you just realize you want a Coke. Your ass just got programmed. You didn't realize it. It's similar to what they do in this program, but way more overt, way more invasive. The programming and the presentation of the stimuli. So that's being pounded into my head 24/7, and there's not really much I can do about it, like I said, unless I turn the internet off. But I'm still deprogramming to a certain extent, and I'm not having the same, you know, weird reactions that I was having before, to the stimuli and the false narratives, because of my videos and because of my being able to refute things and provide evidence and self-talk and self-therapy. So I didn't have that weird reaction that I probably would have typically had to that interaction that happened. And so when I got back in the room and I was acting normal, and I just went back to coding and looking at my coding stuff, and I didn't look awkward or whatever the case was, I think that bothered the gang stalkers, because I just noticed all of a sudden I started hearing this really loud hum in my ear. Like I told you already, before that incident happened, they were kind of doing it in my ear. Not as bad as a week prior when I was looking into the tech, but they were doing it. You know, they were doing it off and on. But after that interaction, they started doing it so loud in my ear. It was just like, you know, almost like the level of a week ago when I got sick, nauseous from it. Like I actually popped off. I actually spoke out loud. I didn't think. I said, why are y'all doing that to me? You know, because I know they can hear me. I literally said, why are y'all doing that to me? I said, why am I being punished? I said, because this person's having an anxiety attack? Are you kidding me? I'm being punished because this person's having an anxiety attack? I said, what is the problem? Is it because I'm not having a reaction like I usually do? And I don't know, that seemed to bother them or something, because they, you know, had it going so loud in my ear for a good few minutes, and then they turned it down. Like they realized it was nonsense that they were doing. And so then I just continued with the tech stuff and just kind of brushed that off, you know. And I fell asleep, and this is where the documentation comes into play. I fell asleep. I was tired, you know. I told y'all already in the prior clip that I've been training myself, like hardcore training myself, like boot camp, like almost like I'm in the military. Like I have a full workout regimen, right? And I've been working out every day except Saturday. Some hardcore workouts too, especially when I do the weightlifting sessions that I do on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So yesterday was Friday, so it was a weightlifting session. And so my body was tired. You know, on those days, I tend to sleep better at night. So I like that. And so I knocked out. You know, I fell asleep. And I woke up, you know, around 12. It was like 12 or 12:10, around that time, you know, midnight. And I was laying on my back. And I realized, you know, as I'm coming to, I'm realizing I can't breathe. You know, it's this weird thing that happens. And that's a symptom of neuromonitoring. Let me show y'all, just so y'all can know. Remember, I always provide evidence and documentation for the things that I say, right? Let me show y'all. You see this video that says diagram of neuromonitoring effects on targeted individuals? Check that video out, y'all. It gives good information. You know, I've talked about this in several of my recent videos, even the one I referenced at the beginning of the last clip, where I told you that there's evidence on my page, a plethora of evidence about this technology that exists, this neuromonitoring technology. Evidence of mind control technology used on targeted individuals. And you see the thumbnail of the brain and the microchip. In that video, I referenced this video as well, right? This video I just showed y'all, this diagram of neuromonitoring effects on targeted individuals. And that picture you see in the thumbnail is the diagram that I share in the video. It's literally a diagram from DARPA that was shared at a freedom of speech conference, right? So I don't even think that they meant to release that. But that diagram shows you what this technology can do once it's in the body. And one of the things that it has the capability of doing is affecting your organs, your internal organs. It can actually cause sleep apnea-like symptoms. So if you're not familiar with what sleep apnea is, it's basically this condition where some people, typically people that are overweight or unhealthy, if you listen to my video, the last clip, you can hear that I said I'm skinny. I'm actually skinnier than I usually am. And even when I have meat on me, I'm not overweight. So for me to have sleep apnea doesn't seem likely. I'm a healthy young female, 31 years old. I work out. I work out vigorously. So that it wouldn't make sense for me to be having sleep apnea. I'm only 31. I'm not overweight. I eat relatively healthy. It doesn't make sense for me to be having sleep apnea. It's not adding up. But this technology can cause sleep apnea-like symptoms, where basically it'll feel like your throat is closing up, similar to like sleep apnea. You know how the back of the throat with sleep apnea, or if you don't know, I'm telling you now, the back of your throat, what happens with sleep apnea is gets too relaxed. So it literally relaxes to the point where it closes off. And so you're not getting air. And so, you might end up snoring, and struggling to breathe and wake up kind of flailing because you weren't breathing. Actually, in some cases, in some rare cases, yeah, forbid, I don't want to say this on camera, it can be scary. It can really be scary. I'm not going to say what could happen in some rare cases, but it's dangerous and it's scary. Sleep apnea, it really is. But typically, like I said, it's found in people that are overweight, are not healthy, or that snore. So I don't really understand why I would be having sleep apnea. But this is a symptom of neuromonitoring. Let me show you guys. Welcome back to my channel, back with another vid. If you're new, welcome. All right, so I'm not going to go through all of the things in this video, the things that this technology can do. Please check out this video. I'll give good info. I just want to specifically talk about the sleep apnea thing. First of all, wildly racing heart without cause, because this is what happened to me after I woke up. I'm gonna go into that in a minute, but I want to talk about the sleep apnea thing. Where is that? Where it talks about that. Forced manipulation of airways, including externally controlled forced speech. So forget the forced speech part. It's the manipulation of the airways that I wanted you to focus on, because this is something I heard another target talking about too, how she would wake up flailing and feeling like she was going to have a heart attack because she couldn't breathe. And this is something that the technology can do. They can use the technology to do that, to control your airways, similar to like what happens with sleep apnea, where it feels like your throat is closing off. And so this is what happened to me last night, and I noticed this happens to me sometimes. It always seems to be around the time when I'm annoying the gang stalkers. This is when I notice it starts to happen to me. So I don't understand why it would be happening last night, coincidentally, right when I start doing the tech again. It's every time I'm doing the tech too, I notice these weird coincidences as it pertains to my health. I told y'all what happened a few months ago when I was doing the tech. How serious that was, right? Then about a week ago, again, I started looking into the tech again. I told y'all I suspect that it was them. I was hearing the humming in my ear really loud to the point where the pressure got so bad that I got nauseous. Then last night, you know what happened? The weird thing, I didn't have the reaction with that family member or person in my close circle. I think that irritated them. And then I was doing the tech. And every time I do that, that seems to I don't know, rub a button, a nerve, push a nerve. I don't know what it is. But it always seems to cause some sort of physical reaction for me, negative physical reaction, punishment for no reason. So I just woke up around midnight and I was flailing for air. It felt like my airways were closed off and I was trying to come to. This is what was scary about it, because I was halfway between sleep and awake and I could feel that I couldn't breathe and it almost felt like I couldn't move. And so I had to fight myself to wake up. And when I was finally able to wake up, I was gasping for air. I was flailing for a minute trying to get my throat open because it literally felt like the airway was closed off. And then I got it open. I was just gasping for air. And so I caught my breath and I laid down. I was like, oh my God. I said, why are they doing this? Immediately I thought them. Again, not bearing false witness and not accusing, because I can't concretely prove that they're doing this. Although I can prove, as you see on the screen, that the technology exists. I can prove that it, coincidentally enough, every time I start dealing with the tech, I start to have these physical effects, and I can prove that I'm targeted. I can't concretely prove that they are doing this to me. But coincidentally enough, last night, again, after dealing with the tech, this weird incident happened, so this is why I'm doing this video. This is what the whole video was about. I told y'all all these other stuff. You could say it's an update video as well, and, informational, but really this is what the video was about, documentation about what happened to me for my own safety and protection, and also just to have a record of this, right? Excuse me. So after I got up from that happening, my chest was feeling funny. And I hadn't felt that in a long time since living in the other neighborhood. Because like I said, there have been nights where I had that weird, feel like my airway has closed off in this very neighborhood. But it doesn't happen often, and it's typically around the time when I've done something to, it seems, irritate the gang stalkers, like maybe made a video, or I'm doing something productive and it bothers them. That's when I notice it happens. So I'm just like, okay, this is weird, because this is the worst that it's been in this neighborhood. This is the worst that it's been. It's happened to me before, but not to the point where my heart is feeling heavy and, I'm feeling like I might have to go to the hospital. I haven't felt that in months. The last time I felt something like that was in the old neighborhood, where I had to get up immediately and make turmeric and cayenne pepper tea to try and open up my blood vessels. And this is what happened last night. After I woke up and I caught my breath, I was just laying there not feeling right. Like my chest was feeling funny. My heart felt heavy and tight. Like I said, I felt it before. That's not the first time that I felt that. But it's been months since I felt that. The last time I felt that was in the old neighborhood, where I was more so experiencing that more often. That was more so a few months ago, where I was scared for my life, and, there was a lot of physical effects happening. But I haven't felt that in a while, that serious, to the point where it's like fear for your life type of thing. Like I said, I've had the airway thing happen in this neighborhood, but not like as bad as it happened last night, to the point where I'm actually scared for my life type of thing. So I was like, no way. I said, I gotta make a video and document this. Because, after I woke up, like I said, I wasn't feeling right. After I caught my breath, I was laying there not feeling right. And my heart feeling heavy. And so naturally I started to kind of feel panicked. But I'm so good at dealing with this. I've been dealing with it for months. And then also, too, blessing enough, I am an anxiety person. And not an anxiety person, but I used to suffer with major anxiety. I've talked about this in my prior videos. That's a part of ADD and Asperger's. But I used to suffer with major anxiety in my early 20s. And so I learned coping mechanisms, how to slow down a racing heart, how to slow down racing thoughts, how to remain calm when that flight or fight mode starts to kick in. I learned those techniques years ago from dealing with anxiety. So it's helped me a lot in this program, in this last year, where all these physical things started happening to me. After I relocated, came back, and my targeting changed, and all these physical things started happening to me. That past that I have with anxiety has come in handy, because I've learned how to, I know the techniques that I need to use to stay calm when these weird, crazy physical things are happening. So this is what I was doing there. I was just laying there, kind of feeling panicked because of the heavy heart. And then I started feeling my heart racing. This racing heart thing, it starts to feel like you're going to have a heart attack, because your heart is feeling heavy. It's this weird, heavy feeling. I can't really explain it. Like, you can literally feel the constriction in your heart, and it starts racing. Just like what this picture says, this diagram. You see how it says, wildly racing heart without cause. And so this is what was happening to me last night. After I finally caught myself, woke up, caught my breath, then my heart was racing. After I felt the heaviness and I just wasn't feeling right, my heart started racing. So I was like, oh my God. I said, what are they doing now? Why are they doing this? This is immediately what my thought was. Again, not bearing false witness, but suspecting that this is what was being done. So I hopped out of the bed and I ran into the kitchen, because I'm, again, a holistic health type of girl, and I know about different natural remedies for different health issues. And I know that cayenne pepper has capsaicin in it, and the capsaicin opens the blood vessels. Black pepper has piperine in it. That also opens the blood vessels. So if ever you're having a heart issue and you feel like there might be a blockage or something like that going on, if you go and you make turmeric tea, and you put the black pepper or you put cayenne pepper, better to put cayenne pepper, but either pepper will work. Those things can save your life. It can open up your blood vessels and help to stop the blockage. Turmeric tea also, the turmeric helps, because turmeric is good for inflammation. It's good for blood flow. So the combination of those two things, and you can't just take turmeric any old way. Turmeric is hard for the body to absorb. So when you take turmeric, like if you make it in a tea, or you're taking it in powder form, however you're taking it, it's hard for the body to absorb turmeric. So you have to take it with a fat soluble, and you have to take it with pepper to open up the blood vessels so that it can be absorbed. So that's where golden milk comes in. That's why people make turmeric tea and it's called golden milk. And you'll see that they put either pepper or cayenne pepper in there, and then they put milk, or some sort of fat in there, that's how your body can absorb the turmeric, because turmeric is hard for the body to absorb. So you have to take it with a pepper to open up the blood vessels, and then you have to take it with a fat soluble, like milk or oat milk, almond milk, whatever fat soluble you decide to put in there. Oil, you can put coconut oil, so that it's easily absorbed, because obviously fat solubles are absorbed into the cells easily. So this is how your body can absorb the turmeric. So this is what I know. And I know that if ever you're having a heart issue, the best thing you can do to save your life is drink turmeric tea. So instantly, whenever these things start happening to me, I always fly up and I make the turmeric tea. And there's always some on the stove, because the older people in my close circle drink that on a daily anyways. They're familiar with that. I actually told my mom about it years ago. I used to make it for her. I taught her about turmeric tea. I'm the one who told her about turmeric tea and the fact that it helps with diabetes, blood pressure, etc. So that's something they make every morning, and there's always some in a pot on the stove. And so I just boiled that up, and I threw some cayenne pepper in a cup, and I guzzled that thing down because I was feeling so freaking weird. I actually thought I might have had to go to the hospital. And so I drank that, and I went back in my room, and I decided to make this video. It's just like, wow, it's like crazy. As soon as I started looking into the tech, again, I'm worried about my life. Like, it's this weird thing. I don't really understand what the issue is. It's like, this program is designed to stop you from prospering or something. It's the weirdest thing ever. It's really a creepy, scary program. But that's what happened, guys. I just wanted to document, this is what this video was about. I ended up giving y'all an update and talking about other things, but that was mainly what this video was about. It's just for documentation purposes. So that's it. That's all it was, guys. I just wanted to tell you about my scary experience last night. Just documentation, because it was really scary what happened. So thank you for tuning in, y'all. I did not meet my goal. I was trying to make this video 30 minutes or 30 to 40 minutes long, and it's way longer than what I wanted it to be. I'm putting together that 7-minute video at the top, or 6 minutes and 43 seconds, the hour video, and then this 27-minute video. So this is, about an hour and a half, a little bit more, about an hour and 40 minutes of content, way longer than I wanted it to be. But I said everything I wanted to say. So thanks for tuning in, y'all. Hopefully the next video I come with will be the promised workout video with me on camera that I keep promising y'all that I'll come with if the Most High spares my life. Again, it's just me, trying to get access to a camera. And I said this already, I might end up just using a cell phone and letting somebody record me. I'll just put on like my short pants, and I'll put on my sports bra and let y'all see what I look like now, versus what I'm gonna look like if the Most High spares my life, and I stay consistent with my workouts, and I'm able to get access to more protein. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, y'all. We'll talk to y'all in the next one. Peace out.